Hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about training yourself to build habits. Now, there's a quote that's been going around. I think Warren Buffett said this the most. The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too hard to be broken, which pretty much means habits are very, very, very tough to form. Not really, but in terms of how long it takes, though, um, they take a while to form. Is which pretty much what it says. You have to consistently do them for a long time before they become habits, and then by then you wake up one day and realize, oh my goodness, this thing is just like I can't even not do it if I tried. It's such a habit now, and so for something like that to take place, it really does require one a fairly long time period, maybe a month, 30 days, 20 days. 20 days is pushing it. 60 days, 100 days. And the second thing is consistency. And then the third thing sometimes is baby steps. I think a lot of people fail to realize that. By baby steps, I mean if you're trying to do something ridiculous, you don't want to just jump from here to there. You have to like do small things and inch your way towards that goal. And so today I want to talk about this one technique for achieving those habits or achieving a difference in how you schedule or maintain your life. And what I'll be talking about is uh, conditioning yourself through a reward system. Now, this works best for very simple tasks that don't require heuristics. Basically, very uh, mechanical tasks, very simple tasks. Heuristics, what that means is stuff with that involves creativity or imagination. So this works best for stuff that does not require thinking outside of the box or creativity or imagination, or stuff that requires that you can get some sort of inborn love for, inborn motivation for. And the reasons I'm saying that is because of what I've learned through the book Drive. Drive is a book about motivations, and it cites a lot of psychological studies and counterintuitive truths. So a lot of things, it's very shocking. I'll probably do a review on that book on my book review channel. Check that out. So I won't go into the reasons why, but this will work best for very simple stuff. And most likely, whatever you're going to use this on, perhaps your sleep schedule, if your sleep schedule's very screwed up, or you want to add something to your workout or your work ethic or your schedule, or something like that, it works very well for, because it's a very simple task. And it's just do it or don't do it. Pick up this brick, put it over there. It's not much anything else. Other stuff, and then when we get into occupations and motivations and different stuff, it gets hella complicated, and all these very bizarre stuff start happening. So it's very simple. Conditioning pretty much means training someone or something, usually someone, an organism, a living organism, to do something. The great example is Pavlov's dog. There's a psychological study done. Everyone knows it. Pavlov's dog. If anyone's taken psychology, you've heard of it. It's very famous. It's an experiment where they ring the bell, and then they give the dog food. And then after numerous times, they'll ring the bell, and then the dog will start salivating before the food is presented. So the dog has been trained to salivate on something completely unrelated to the food, based on a recent environmental training regimen, or just conditioning and associating these two things. It's something that a lot of organisms have, because the environment is a ever-changing thing, and it's important to be able to associate things that may not have come across in your parents' generation to rewards or to pain and pleasure, pretty much. And so You can do this on yourself because we are intelligent creatures. Other animals can't do this on themselves because they can't condition or train themselves. They can't actually think. So what you can do is very simple. You can set up rewards. You can do a variation on this where you set up short-term rewards, mid-term rewards, or long-term rewards. Or if you want to make it very simplistic, just do short-term rewards, or maybe just short-term and long-term. So for instance, let's say you want to change your sleeping behavior. You go to sleep at 3 a.m. every day. You wake up at 2 p.m. every day. Now, how is this possible? Surprisingly, there's a lot of people like this. How on earth they do it? Maybe they have night jobs. Maybe they have no jobs. Maybe they've become very lazy. Maybe they're students off on winter break. Whatever reason, a lot of people have this problem. But again, this can be applied to anything. It's pretty much training yourself through the reward system. You don't want to add the pain system because I feel like it's not as effective and it's obviously painful. But if you really want to, go ahead. So it's very simple. For short-term rewards, what you can do is give yourself a little treat every day for accomplishing your goal. Maybe it's a small sweet treat. I don't advise that because again that affects your health as well. So you can start thinking creatively and just think up something. It could be something like you are allowed to spend an extra $1. Don't go overboard. An extra $1 every day on clothing, and then you can add that to your clothing piggy bank, and then that savings will add up every day. So those are your short-term rewards. Every day, if you do it, you get the $1. If you don't, neutral. Nothing happens. You don't get the $1, but you don't lose anything. That might work better. It may work worse than maybe doing something painful to yourself instead, like smacking yourself, punching yourself, whipping yourself. There's some people they have rubber band bracelets, and each time what they would do would they'd stretch it back and then just let it fling. But again, if you want to add negative punishments inside, which I don't recommend, it's also a possibility. It may work for you. So those are your short-term things. And then for long-term, let's say you have to be realistic. So let's do like 90 days. If you manage to change your sleeping pattern from 3 a.m. to going to sleep at 9 p.m. and then waking up from 2 p.m. to waking up at 8 a.m. If you manage to do that, then you get the reward after 90 days. Once you've accomplished your goal at the 90-day mark, you will get, let's say, a big prize. You are allowed to purchase the shoes of your choice with your money, or you're allowed to do something that you couldn't do before, like whatever you want. Buy yourself an ice cream. Indulge, or let's give you some. And again, as you can tell from this whole analogy, this whole thing sort of implies that you have some sort of restraint to begin with. So it could be you can now buy the sneakers that you want, or you can now buy 4 coffees for today, or you can now watch a movie today, or now you can hang out with your friends today, or you can now take your day off. And again, the whole thing, because of this, the whole concept requires self-conditioning or self-training. It implies you need a little bit of restraint on yourself. So if you're always and already just gorging yourself, spending all the money you have, having no restraint, indulging in everything you see, there's not much more reward you can give yourself in your realm of possibility without hurting yourself and getting into debt. Again, I'll probably do another video on credit card debt and all that stuff. A lot of it's very much common sense for me because I've read a lot about personal finance and all this stuff, but I do think there's a lot of people who have problems with it that I may be able to help. So I may do a video on that depending on if there's demand for it. Anyhow though, so you have your long-term goals and your short-term goals, and then if you want you can do midterm goals. And it's very important that you set reasonable expectations for your daily goals and your long-term goals. So it's unreasonable to expect a shift from waking up at 2 p.m. to waking up at 8 a.m. in a day. That's very unreasonable, and a lot of people, teachers, professors, mentors, have made mistakes in doing that. And it's such a tragedy when you have a student who has all the ambition and all the drive, and they're just given a goal that's too hard, and rather than being rewarded for doing the absolute best that they could, they're punished for it, and then the next day they don't try as hard even though they did it right. I would equate that, especially when they're very young and they don't know any better, to unoptimal mentoring or teaching. So from the day-to-day perspective, you want to give yourself a viable, reasonable goal. If you're starting at a sleeping schedule of going to sleep at 3 a.m. and waking up at 2 p.m., you probably want to set your goal for the next day of a baby step. How about I go to sleep at 2:45 a.m. instead of 3 a.m. tomorrow? And rather than waking up at 2 p.m., I want to wake up at 1:45 p.m. And you set your alarm clock and you set everything down and you get to work. And boom, those incremental 15-minute differences will gradually change over. Again, it can work, and I feel like a lot of people, they think they can just in 2 days do it, and unfortunately a lot of people have problems that run deeper than this. I've had a lot of sleep schedule issues as well, and so a lot of it has to do with a lot of issues: force of will, priorities, importance in anything in your life, diet as well. A lot of people don't realize that caffeine stays in your system for half a day to 2 days on end. So if you're drinking anything with caffeine in the morning, that may be one of the reasons why you're staying up so late. Partially. There's obviously other reasons too. And if you are drinking in the afternoon or the night, it's a clear sign why you're staying up. So all these things play into it. So in addition to conditioning yourself, you do have to open your eyes and see what else is out there. As always, if you like this video, leave it a like. If you're a helpful person, hit the subscribe button. If you're not subscribed already, it'll let you know when my next video is out. Otherwise, if you're a helpful person, go ahead and share this video with a group, family member, a friend, acquaintance that you think would very much be helpful by it, or be very interested in this, or may consider watching it. I'll see you guys later.